Awesome. Well, good morning, everyone. We have the beautiful TinaStellaFit here as a guest speaker on the AP Fitness podcast. Super, super excited.
Hello.
So, Tina, hello. So, Tina, how about you tell us about yourself?
Oh my God. Don't put me on the spot. I am a nurse. I am a fitness coach. I have several clients that I have online, and they all kind of have like a similar kind of story. We're all like mothers that I feel like for mothers, a lot of the weight lands on us, um, whether we're with somebody or not. There's just so much responsibility that comes with being a mother. And I feel like we take on all of that, whether it comes from our work, our own hobbies, taking care of ourselves, and taking care of our kids, their schedules, and kind of keeping that all in line. Those are kind of the clients that I attract. Um, but yeah, I was married to somebody for 14 years and that didn't end up well, so I became a single mother 5 years ago. Yeah, 5 years ago, and did it all myself in a little condo by myself, raising two small children, trying to explain to them what the reason why, like the reasons why it happened without being too graphic or putting the other parent down. Um, then I was like, okay, I gotta get my shit together. I gotta figure this out, because I'm on my own now. So I not only did I start nursing school, but I started fitness coaching online, my own business, which was extremely hard to juggle both. Um,
And being a mom.
and being a mom. Yeah, that was rough. Like you don't get days off. They get sick. There's still doctor's appointments. There's still their schedule that you have to worry about and time with them. Like that was almost impossible at times. When looking back, I was like, how did I do it? How
Isn't
did
that
I?
interesting? Like,
Yeah,
we don't even realize what we're capable of, and we look back, we're like, what?
yeah.
I know
Like
how
how did
you,
I handle all that?
yeah.
And
It's
like I remember asking myself at times like when I was in school and I like was doing like nursing homework and having to go to clinicals and I was like I don't know how I'm doing this. Every single day I like question like how am I doing this? But I know like my biggest advice for people that are into business and raising kids and either going to school or starting their own business would be just to take one day at a time,
right.
one moment at a time, and just keep telling yourself, I got this.
I love that. It's one of those things where, like, I don't know about you, but when I was going through the similar situation, I was also doing school. I was doing school, went through separation and divorce,
Wow.
momming the two kids, because for a moment, I did have to do it by myself just for about a couple months, just because of separation and so forth. It was
Yeah.
just a big deal. But until we got our parenting schedule, together. But then it's like, oh, let's join PTA for your son's school, Annie. That's a bright idea. So I was doing that and then coaching soccer and then working. I got a job quick. So I was a stay-at-home mom and wife. And I was like, as soon as the kids are old enough, I'm working, which, truth be told, he didn't want me to. That's like the one he was
Same.
like, you don't need to.
And it
And
was beautiful. It was beautiful
yeah,
for the time, right? Like I
Right, exactly. But then it's like you get, I don't know how to explain that. Well, I'm just gonna be blunt with it. What I think a lot of men don't understand is like when a woman gets to that point where she's like, okay, I'm not just mom, I don't know if you felt this way. I'm speaking for myself. You want to go to do the things that you want to do, like whether it be work or hobbies or something.
yeah.
A woman naturally, majority of women I've met actually, like probably like 90%, same thing. I didn't mind staying home raising kids when they were little, but that moment they are starting to get old enough where they're both like in school. A woman doesn't really want to
Stay
just be.
home all day and wait for their kids to get off school. It's
Yeah,
like, where's your life?
exactly.
Where's your needs? Like, it's, oh, I think, yeah, like you said, like a woman is more than happy to give that up the first couple of years because it's like you
Hmm.
want to be with your baby as much as possible because you know they're going to go to school and separate, unless you're doing homeschool at least. But then they go to school and they start having their own lives, and it's like, yeah, where's your identity? You kind of lost it, and you kind of have to redefine that.
It's interesting because that's so true. And so, like with me, I mean, the moment he left, boom, I was like, I'm getting a job. I'm working. And luckily, my parents were there to help. And I mean, Maddie was in pre-K though. So, like, half the day is all I needed help with her. And then I drop the kids off before I was working and then pick him. My mother would pick her up, and if I wasn't working that day, I'd pick her up in the afternoon, but I'd pick up my son after work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was so helpful. So I look back and I'm like, how did I do that? How? It's, and when I remind myself, and I'm by you, like, how did we do that? Now, like, I'm going through something, it's like, I can do this.
Yeah.
I am capable of
You
this.
just gotta, I think it's a lot of like self-talk too. It's like, because I remember I've broken down, cried, like, I can't do this. Like, I've said that
Yeah,
before. You tell yourself, like, I can't do this. This is too much, you know? I can't handle this. But then you just kind of like have to be like, no, I have no choice. I have to do
exactly.
this. Right?
You do get into that I have no choice because
Yeah.
truth be told, like I at the time and once in a while, I mean, did a few months ago, I posted reels of me crying, but those were the moments where I recorded several years ago. I was recording my moments, like, and it's weird that I did that because I don't like to record those moments, but the really dark ones where I'm crying or and I'm just in bed or I recorded that and I told myself, like, you need to do this and keep it as a reminder. I don't know why.
I like that.
And now I look back and I'm like, holy cow. And I
And you
have
can
like,
remember how you felt like at the time.
yeah, and I'm like, wow. And, just knowing I'm not there anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then helping people with it. It's very interesting.
Yeah. I've even like, just even looking at pictures. Have you ever looked at pictures during that time and you remember exactly, like, even if you're smiling in the picture,
Yep.
but you remember how you felt, like how hard it was during that time. And like how you faked that smile, you took your kids somewhere or whatever, but you remember how you were feeling.
Yeah.
Like I still have those pictures, you know? Like I'm getting chills just talking about
Yeah.
it.
I have those. It's so crazy because I remember the first year of being divorced. The first year, it's not necessarily, yes, it's very hard, but I don't know about you, but when the anniversary date hits, for the first year, that was hard for me.
Yeah.
And then, like, I look at the pictures from that entire first year,
Like
and
your wedding anniversary.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
And for the first year, for some reason, that was just hard, even though,
It was like the first 2 or 3 3 years I'm gonna be honest. Like it wasn't hard. It was hard the first year, but like the first 3 years, like I sat there and thought about it. I'm like, oh, I remember what I was doing this day.
yeah,
You know?
It's weird. Did you know, though, and people are like, well, you need to retrain your mind, but our body, like with memories, it's biologically ingrained in us.
Really?
And so dates are ingrained with us, like
Wow.
certain dates. And it's just weird how the chemistry in our body works that way because certain dates in my life that have been detrimental or just big events or anything, like I don't even notice the day that it is, and I'm just like in a funk that entire day. And I'm like,
Wow.
why? And I just like feel draggy or like just
Mm.
not my full self.
And then you look at the date and you're like, oh,
Yep. And I mean, it's been scientifically proven that our body, even though we know, like, are not necessarily thinking about it,
hmm,
our subconscious and just biologically and everything that's just ingrained in us, our body, it's just natural.
that's
Like,
crazy.
isn't that crazy? I guess it's the same way with like our biological clock.
Really.
We like are so used to waking up at a certain time,
Yeah.
regardless.
Yeah.
And it's just our body, like, it's just interesting how that works.
Circadian rhythm.
Right? But I know I feel you, like, especially with the photos. I look back and I'm like, oh, I was really struggling this day, but I made sure I put on that smile and made the day like the best for the kids. Like
Yeah.
preschool graduation, kindergarten, kindergarten, what is it called? Promotion into like first grade,
Yeah.
just family trips.
Family trips. My goodness. Yeah. Yeah. Where like like what was going on in the back scene, but you were trying to keep it together for your
Yep.
kids.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Tina, tell me, what inspired you to like be a fitness coach, but also partake in going the route of becoming a healthcare worker?
I think it all kind of comes back to the same thing is helping people. I've always been really good at that. Whether it's even just giving friends advice, I feel like I have so much to share, and unfortunately, so much life experience that that I have the knowledge to share with people. Um, for one, I've always loved to work out. Like since I was a kid, I've always been athletic. I love to play basketball. I love to ride my skateboard. I love to ride my bike. I was always into doing something like athletic. And then grew up, and even through like my years of doing drugs and drinking, I still made time to go work out, believe it or not. Like I still woke up early and went running. And then when I got old enough to have my own gym membership, I went and found my friends that like to work out. And we went, and mind you, I didn't know what I was doing. There was no schedule, there was no nutrition in line. It was just, I like the way this makes me feel.
Hmm.
Right. So I always came back to that. When I'm having a bad day, I'll go for a walk. Like just always knowing that movement helps me, because I grew up with a lot of anxiety and all that stuff. So I realized that the movement is helping me, right? I don't really care how it's making me look. I'm knowing what it's doing for my mind,
Yes.
right? And then as I got, more into it, then you learn more. You learn about the nutrition aspect and how that benefits you, and actually having a routine and a schedule for working out different muscle groups. And then you go down a rabbit hole, and you learn more and more and more. And there's always stuff to learn about fitness and nutrition. Um, but like I said, I've always been inclined to help people. So becoming a nurse kind of was like a no-brainer.
Mhm.
And going to school and doing my clinicals and being with people, I was like, this is what I was meant to do. I like made clients or patients smile, and they were in their worst moments. They're in so much pain. And they're like, thank you for being nice. There's so many nurses that are in here now and they just don't care. But like, you're actually nice to me. Thank you. And you made my day. And they would ask my name and they would say, when you're coming back. And then I realized that there's something more to that. I've always always studied nutrition too, like excelled in that in school. So um, they kind of just go together, you know? And so I'll have clients, some clients will have like issues, and I'm just like, oh, I know all about this, you know?
That's awesome.
So it kind of works out. Thankfully I'm only working part-time right now, so I'm able to focus on both.
Mhm.
But it's a struggle. Like just last night, my son wanted to play, and I was like, I've got work to do. Like, I'm so sorry, you know? And I had to say that a lot in nursing school too. I was like, I'm sorry, guys. Like, I have to study.
Yeah.
I know I just picked you up from dad's, but like, this is the sacrifice I have to make. I have to do this, you
Right.
know? And hopefully they understand. And then you make it up to them on a day that you can, you
Right.
know?
I
Um,
think that's important because
mhm,
even though I'm not like at my officer job, I'm
mhm,
still working. You know what I
mhm.
mean? I may not be like necessarily doing like the officer work right now, but I'm still working with my business.
Yeah.
I'm working with like ebooks, my
Mhm.
podcast, figuring out ways to promote myself because
Yeah.
I haven't been able to due to what I'm going through right now and just doing that.
Yeah.
And also I'm doing some classes as well.
Wow.
So I'm like, it's a lot. And like my son came in, it was a couple days ago, and he came in, he was just like, he's been wanting to hang out with me a lot, and so that's been awesome because
Yeah.
he's 15, and I'm like, okay. He came in, he's like, Mom, you want to come check this out? I'm like, oh, honey, I'm editing a podcast right now. You know, I'm like, it's like starting to download, and I don't like, I want to make sure everything is like good. So then he just stood next to me and he was like talking to me, and I listened for that moment, and I said, okay, son, let me catch you after this
Yeah.
podcast because right now I cannot focus. And he was understanding about it.
Mhm.
I mean, I was like, I really don't want to like shut him down, but at the same time, I know my kids understand like mom's doing this for a reason
Mhm.
and like for our future because the
You're gonna
planet.
make me cry. No, I totally get that. I totally, okay, I'm gonna tell you a story and I'm probably gonna cry, but but like even right now, like they're sleeping. You know what I mean? Like, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
you're making me cry. Go ahead, girl. Let those tears out.
So, his teacher told me, his kindergarten teacher, this is when I was in school, but his kindergarten teacher was like, he comes, okay, wait, hold on. He comes and he talks about you, and he says how proud he is of you, that you're gonna be a nurse. And like, I was just like, oh my God, like, please. That is all you had to say. I was like, it's all
It,
worth it, you know?
it is worth it. I mean, I love that because my son is similar.
Yeah,
I mean, based with us talking for quite some time now, it seems like our sons are just very,
I know.
I don't know what
It's
it
fun.
is, but um, same similar thing happened
Mhm.
with parent teacher conferences. I went in recently and they flat out were like, your son is the most well behaved. And I've been told this several times.
Mm.
Has great manners, so well behaved. He listens. He talks about how his mom works, but is awesome. And they were just
They're
like saying all
watching.
these things, and
They're watching.
I was like, what? You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, okay, I'm doing fine. Like, I'm doing great. Like, I don't want him to ever feel neglected. You know what I mean?
Right. And it's the constant, I think, guilt. And like I said, I talk to my clients about this. They're all moms, you know, and whether they have, like I said, whether they have a partner or not, like the weight lands on us. I don't know why that is, you know?
It's 100% true. 100.
And and it's just and then we get the mom guilt, you know?
Yep.
And it's like and I'm constantly like enforcing like you need to make sure that you're giving yourself time for working out. You need to make sure that you're eating the right foods because we get this guilt and then we don't. put us first,
Exactly.
and then we put everybody else first. And it's like switching that mindset of I need to take care of me so that they're okay. And it's a balance, and it's like I know it's like impossible to balance, but it's a daily effort to try to balance your life.
Exactly. I think like it goes one of two ways is there's the mom guilt where you completely let yourself go completely because you feel like no, my kids are gonna have it all as long as they're
Yeah.
bathed, as long as, they're this, whatever, they're fed, who cares? And then there's the mom guilt. It's like it's seriously a double-edged sword. Then there's the mom guilt of when you are actually taking care of yourself and
Yeah.
you're doing great and you're flourishing, but then you're like, oh my God, are my kids like, are they being neglected? Even though we know they're not.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's such
It's
a
like a
job.
daily thing.
It's like it's just a double-edged sword. It's like, but you know what? I was starting to like it's just like the nurture in us and the mom in us. I was
Hmm.
starting to feel like, oh my God, he was trying to talk to me, and I was like, but when I was done, I went in there and I had a conversation with him, and he was just really excited, and he's
Yeah, they understand.
and I was like, okay, okay, you're being too hard on yourself, Andy. Like, yeah, I think we're too hard on ourselves because
Yeah.
everything does fall on us no matter what.
And another thing I tell them too is like you need to let the dishes go some night, because that is part of balancing. Is you can't just focus 100% on work. You can't do that. You have a family, you have a house, right? So some days, and this I actually learned this while in school and trying to juggle so many things, was some days you need to let the house go, and
Yep.
it needs to look like crap for like a day or two.
Mhm.
And you need to find peace in that, because the people in your life are so important, and so is your job or your schooling, and those two need to be balanced the most, and then everything else can, you sprinkle it in. So one
That's
day you could clean your room, the next day you could clean your kitchen, when you have an extra 30 minutes or whatever.
right. And I think it's important because if you're constantly just staying on top of like, oh, the dishes, that's something I'm OCD about is dishes. That's actually like what
It's
my
never ending. It's just never.
that is, but there's been like the moments where I'm like, no, like just let them sit. Like let them sit, Annie. Like you have humans to, they got home from school, go spend time with them. Just let those dishes just sit for this moment. You know what I mean? And that's something I actually like really, really struggle. That's actually something I do when I cook too. I wash my dishes right away. After I've used one dish, I wash it. I
That's
use it.
I'm
I
gonna try that though, but that's
It
crazy.
works. It works. And I like that better because otherwise I'm gonna be like freaking out. It's the
Yeah.
craziest thing. I freak out. But no, honestly, just letting them go for that one day and it's like it's fine. It's absolutely fine. And I actually didn't feel the stress of having to get everything done
Yeah.
and like running like a chicken with their head cut off. You know?
Right.
I was able to be like actual present with the kids after school or help Maddie with homework or just
Yeah.
something, have a conversation with my son. So,
And they want at least a little bit of that. I think our kids are around the same age, but like I know that they don't need the constant hovering
right.
anymore, but they do need a little bit of connection, and then they could go off and do their own thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where they're both at. And I'm noticing it. My son's very introverted,
Hmm.
but like growing up, he just is just like he's such a sweetheart. He just loves like hugs and he's so sweet and loved to like snuggle with mom. And now like transitioning in junior high, I was like, okay, I'm too cool for mom. Let me like just sit in my room or just like, just
Yeah.
but now that it's been a few months, like even more so now that he's going to high school,
Wow.
I've been noticing like every little moment, it's like, Mom. And he comes and he sits next to me and he'll just vent or, Mom, can we talk when I get home? I've gotten a couple of those texts.
Oh my God,
It's
that's so cute.
it's like my heart's like, oh my God, I'm coming. I'm like, here comes Mom. But then I like play it cool, like I don't hover, like, I just like
Yeah.
let him just, hey son, so what do you want to talk about? And then boom, he just and I'm loving it. There's
That's
times
beautiful.
he literally comes and he'll knock on the door and I'm like, come in. He's like, just stands right here. What are you doing, Mom? And then just has a conversation with me. And I'm just like, oh, I was just looking at this. And he starts telling me something like really cool. I
Isn't it beautiful how like your relationship changes as they get older and
Yeah,
it just changes into something completely different from when
it's
they were younger.
that's so cool. My daughter, oh, she's just a girl. The moment I'm like, I don't hear anything that comes out her mouth because I'm on a Zoom call or something. I'm like, hold on, Maddie. And I get off and I'm like, what? I said it and you didn't hear me. It's just like, oh, okay, I'm so sorry. You knew I was, but no, you didn't hear me. I don't have to repeat myself. I'm like, oh my God. Okay.
My daughter went through that phase. I mean, it's still there. Like
Yeah.
they get moody.
Girls are moody. Girls
They
are
get
hard.
they get moody.
I mean, we
I
were
just give her space. Like she gets like that often and I'm just like you need to go sit by yourself or something because
doing the same thing. I do. I'm
yeah.
like, you know what?
And then she comes back usually like a couple hours later, so then she'll come back like normal. I'm like, okay,
Oh
what's up?
yeah. Yep. I do the same thing. There's times and she'll start to be a little sassy. I'm like, no, we're not change the tone. And
Yeah,
if I didn't hear her, she gets moody. I'm like, okay, how about this? And she starts getting flustered and frustrated. I like tell her it's okay to feel what you're feeling, but do not snap about it. What you need
be
to do is
disrespectful. Yeah.
just go sit or breathe or go sit outside or go to your room. We're gonna address this after you've calmed down. And she'll go. And that's been our thing we've been doing for quite some time now. I'm like, if I'm around her and she doesn't want to leave and she's moody, I'm like, well, I tell her this, I'm removing myself from this situation because I'm not going to deal with this until you cool down.
It gets, I do have to say, it gets better.
Oh, I hope so.
It
Girls are
does. 11 was a really difficult time for us. Um, it got better around 12, 13 after the
really,
change happened, if you know what I mean.
yep.
After that happens, it's like they're normal and they're happy and in fact closer to you. Like it's weird. Like it was just like one day to the next, it was like you're a different kid.
Oh,
However, they still have like right before it happens, you know what I mean?
yep.
They get like us, like moody again. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah. Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
then now I'm noticing like the mood. I'm like, okay, here we go. It's been the change hasn't like fully happened.
Okay.
It's at all. And
You'll
so
see it. You'll see it
I'm just
happens.
waiting, but the hormones are there.
That's what I'm saying. Like for the full year before, it's like, who are you?
Yeah, it's
It's
rough.
like PMS all day long, every day.
And this is how I know it's getting close because like I thought it was happening a year ago because we
Hmm.
had like a brief like accident. Like, oh, but then that just
That's
diminished. Like,
weird. I mean,
that's
I called actually, I know this is so off topic for, but I called the pediatrician and she said that it could just be spotty, you know?
yeah.
Like, because there was months without it and then it would come. And then it takes like a year or two to get like regular, which is weird. I don't remember that happening with
That
me.
happened to me.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so like that was a year ago, but I
Mhm.
know it's getting close because Maddie's a very headstrong, tough girl.
Mhm.
This girl is just like tough. She falls on her bike. She had like everything. She's just
Wow.
does Spartan races,
Wow.
and she's just rough. She likes to play rough.
Uh-huh.
But my brother took the kids out to play baseball a few days ago,
Mhm.
and my son pitched to her and she did a duck and it hit her just right here. And she was like she was toughing it out. She came home and she had tears, but she doesn't like to cry.
Uh-huh.
Then my brother and my son, and she never gets offended. She never gets offended when boys talk crap 'cause she talks crap just as bad. She's so rambunctious. And
That's my daughter, 100%.
right?
100%.
They were just being boys, and I actually enjoyed my son being a boy, like not so in his shell, because my brother's like, you could have ordered a pizza by the time the ball hit you, just joking around, like you
Yeah.
could have, and then my son's like, I could have texted so many people by the time the ball hit you, and I let my son be a boy. I was like, that's like so uncommon for him to just like be out of his shell like that. She just cried, like boom, the tears. They're being so mean and got super emotional. I'm like, oh my God, this is not her. Oh no, this is not her. Because she would
That's
have gone and
hilarious.
just like punched them in the face or something, or
Like, shut up.
oh, she was crying. She cried for a good like half hour. They're being so mean to me and super emotional. And her
It's happening soon, yeah.
feelings were here. I'm like, oh no, it's happening soon. I'm
Uh-huh.
not ready.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's how I knew. It's like, okay, damn it. Oh, interesting. So, so tell me about this.
Yeah.
So, okay, how do you have like, and you and Dean are doing your couple coaching, right? I mean,
We
how
do
do
have a
you
couple couples on our program, yeah.
love that?
Yeah.
So, how do you manage that? Your coaching, your work, everything.
So I think the couples coaching ends up working out really well because, and I hear this from a lot of girls, is like usually he'll get the dude first, right? And then it's like, well, the wife doesn't want to see the man leveling up himself while she's falling behind. Because usually, if you think about it, couples are in cahoots. Like they do things together. If they're gonna eat like shit today, they're both gonna eat like shit today. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like if they're gonna, I don't know, not work out, they're gonna be doing the same thing. They're not both not gonna be working out. They kind of become best friends and they do everything, they mirror each other.
absolutely.
And so they see the man start getting ripped and start like caring about what they're eating and not eating like crap anymore and putting himself first, and they're like, well, what about me? you know and they just they want to level up with their partner and be healthy too and put themselves first, so it ends up working out really really well. It's been a really great thing, and it's kind of how we started, like we Ding was in rehab when I first met him, and he was on Suboxone, and he was lazy as shit. He didn't do anything. I'd be like, "What'd you do today?" Just like conversation, and I watched a couple of shows. Like I laid on, fell asleep, took a nap, just woke up from it. I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "I just worked a 12-hour shift and went to the gym. What?" And
Oh,
then he would be like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "Well, are you going to the gym today?" No, or yeah, and like he just wouldn't, and then he would come over and I'd be like, babe, let's wake up, let's go to the gym. He'd be like, I don't want to. Like he would straight out say, like, you're so annoying. Like, I don't want to always go to the gym. I'm like, well, this is what I do. So, like, I'm going to the gym today. You could stay here in my bed and sleep if you want to, but I'm going to the gym. And so our second date was at the gym. I woke up, I was like, I'm going to the gym today. Like, you're here on my day off. This is what I do, and my kids aren't here. So get your shit together. You know, like basically like you're either gonna run with me or I'm gonna run by myself, you know?
Right.
So I started getting him to go and forcing him at times because I also knew that he was in rehab and possibly depressed. So this can be beneficial for him. You know what I mean? And it was. And then that's what we did. Every time he came over, I made sure we went to the gym. And now that's all we do.
Oh my goodness. It's amazing because I follow both your stories and
Mhm.
it's just like seeing from where you guys came from to now and how you're both thriving as a couple. It's just like, wow. Like that's when I see the both of you, I'm like, wow, that's how it should be. And I think that's a lot of
That should be, yeah.
it's not that you force change on your partner, and I don't ever believe that
Mm,
it's you to change them, right?
mm,
But it's implanting and some type of growth in them, and they take it how they will.
huh.
If they want to grow, then you can grow together.
Hmm.
And
And if they don't, unfortunately, one falls behind, you know?
absolutely,
And I see it happen in relationships, even when it doesn't have to be working out, right? Whether one's growing spiritually and the other's falling behind, and they're not leveled up together, or one of them's growing emotionally and more like trying to learn or stop bad behaviors or just maybe going to a therapist and working out their traumas and their shit. And when the other one's not, and they're still stuck behind and they're still in the same patterns and stuck in their past, right? Like we're all guilty of this, but all you can do is recognize it,
Mhm.
see where you need to change, and try and do better, right?
I agree with that because I know we were both talking, and we were talking about how when we got married, it was young, dumb, quick.
Hmm.
Um, and it's exciting for that moment, and it was a rough year though, because, he did do 3 tours in Iraq, and when he came back, there was just a lot of unresolved things that came to surface doing those 3 tours.
Absolutely.
And then me, myself, I didn't realize how different we were. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
It changes people.
And it's so crazy to me because I feel like I'm just very headstrong. Like
Mhm.
I'm a pusher. Like, hey, you need to go talk to someone about the things that's going on, or,
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm just very,
that's good.
and I look at now though, that's the difference, is the way I approached it back then
They
was
don't
not.
need a mother.
It was not healthy. It was like,
Mhm.
okay, you're momming him, you're
Yeah,
treating him like a
it's not
child.
sexy.
Like, and then it turns into nagging. And
Right.
it's like,
Offer suggestions. Hey, this is what I'm noticing, but like,
oh my
yeah, it's your
God.
approach, I think.
And then I didn't realize the unresolved things that I had not healed.
Mm,
Because there were certain things that
mhm.
I just did not. And then having my firstborn, I did have
You took
postpartum depression.
postpartum, yeah.
And I'm like, holy cow. So then we were just like, and we would have our times where they were good, right? We would. But then when one would, it's weird how it worked because he started working on himself,
Mhm,
and I was just like in that mom dealing with the baby mode. You
mhm.
know what I mean? And I let myself go. Like I was not like, I'm not saying makeup's everything, but like I was just like not wearing makeup. And then when I dressed up, it was just like, um I was very active in the LDS church at the time, so very modest, like these sleeves, shirts that I
Yeah,
think cap
covered.
sleeves, cap
Mhm.
sleeves, and jeans, and just my hair was always in a ponytail, like all the time. And it'd be
Be
like
like that.
rare that I would like get my hair done, you know what I mean? And he was working on himself. And then I was just like getting annoyed because, like I wouldn't tell him that.
Resemble, yeah.
But then it flipped. He and I was never negative about him working on himself. I was actually really excited for him because that's our kid's father. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It was just more like he had the demands of work, and then he didn't know how to deal with me and my we just didn't know how to we were not seeing eye to eye. I didn't know how to handle the traumas that he had.
Yeah,
He didn't know how to handle the traumas I had. And the
yeah,
way we addressed each other, like we were both the problem. We don't know how. And we weren't each other's like best friend or anything. And then the moment like things were like good and like we bought a house and everything, it was just one of those things like the issue started being like you don't need to go to work. And I'm like, no, I want to work myself. It's like, okay, if you want to. So I went back to school. Our
hmm,
last year of marriage, I went back to school. And he was totally on board with that. He's like, but you don't need to work. I make plenty of money. Like he was making really good money.
yeah.
And I had the big house.
Dude,
I had the
same,
property. I had
same,
a pond, stables, white picket fence.
yeah, same. Dude, we have such similarities. It's
So
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah,
Isn't it crazy though? It's like you can have all that. You can have all
and
that
have like the most empty feeling ever. Yeah.
until you,
The greatest lesson I've learned is that like money is not happiness. And
it's
it's
not.
so cliche, but like I was never happier in my life when was scraping by, struggling to feed my kids. Like I had like this like, oh my God, I'm free,
Yeah.
you know? Like I'm focusing on me. I'm feeling good. I'm like, this is what life is supposed to be about. It's not about getting that money because that money is just it's empty. It's like, yeah, you could get all those things that make life cool, but
Yeah.
it's like true like love and happiness comes from within.
So true. And see, like that's where I was. Was like I loved that he was getting promotions. I
Hmm.
loved that he was like going really far in his work. I love that for him. And I was grateful that our family, because then we had Maddie, we chose to have her. And
Hmm.
I was like, okay, our son needs a friend, you know? And I was grateful that our kids had all of that. But it's like getting the nice things and all the time,
Yeah.
you know, there's
And
more.
same too. Like I don't want to sound like I'm not grateful. Like I was so grateful. I was so grateful. And I still am grateful for that time in my
I
life,
am too.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah, like we had some property and stuff. And it was just gorgeous out in the country.
Oh.
And it was just really nice. And I loved that for my kids at the time.
Hmm.
But it's like success when you're building with someone because he was leveling up in success. And then I went back to school, but then it turned into the issue of we still have unresolved traumas when it became to the emotional and the mind. And then it came to where, because like you, Tina, I was very active growing up. I was a runner. I skateboarded as well. Um, so
So crazy.
I did cheerleading, which is so funny to me because I was a cheerleader that listened to punk rock, and yet I skateboarded as
It's
well.
so cute.
Rode my bike and I did all that. So I was always active. And then during those years of my kids, the young years, I kind of put that on the back burner.
Hmm.
And then the last year of marriage or last 2 years of marriage, I was like, I love running. Running was my outlet as a kid and growing up and as a teenager and in my 20s right before I got married. And I started running again and signing up for races and then riding my bike and then it started turning into like an issue because we were just both not aligned.
Hmm.
It's important that if you're going to grow together, of course it has to be the choice, you choose to grow,
Yeah.
but it has to be like in all aspects. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
you can't lack in one. You cannot. And that's what I see now. And so I just remember last year of marriage, when I was like doing a lot of races, that's when he had decided like I'll start going to your races because I he never like wanted to know about the races or anything. And I'm like, no, no, no. And I was like, all I want is for you to work on yourself mentally for our kid. Our kids need their dad. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's what I want, not for myself, like for him, and then to be the leader for our kids, you know? And then I mean, we had to part ways. We just didn't make sense at all. We had two different visions. I had a different vision for my future, and he had a different vision. It was not the same one.
Right.
And so I think that was like one of the best things is unfortunately, people are like, you were married a decade. Well, yeah, but you know what? I had to go through
Dude,
that.
same. Are you serious? Like, how am I learning all this about you just right now?
That's awesome.
I know.
Um,
Funny.
it's crazy because like I'm actually really grateful. And I tell people that's it's the same thing. Everything I experienced and all the traumas of growing up and just a lot of things have happened in my life. Like
Mm.
unfortunately, there's a lot of experience, but I learned from. But honestly, I look at the marriage and I don't regret
Right. Yeah. I
it.
like I talk to my daughter about that sometimes. I'm like, she's come to me and she's told me some things that she had her feelings on, and I was like, you know what? I don't regret 1 minute of it. I was
Yeah.
like, it was a long time to stay in that situation, when you're not happy. And that was another lesson I had to learn. Like, as soon as something's not right, like, get out of there,
Boom, get out.
right? Because I think we were young and we think that we had so much time or something. I don't know what kept us there for so long, but um, I told her I don't regret a minute of it because
Mhm.
I had that opportunity to stay home with my kids when they were young and build all those memories with them. And not only that, but if I didn't marry him and have kids with him, then I wouldn't have my kids. And they were they're so important, Like, it's just crazy to think that I would have
It's
had
crazy. And that's the thing, like I've met people, I guess it's just the different levels of growth where people
them.
are, and I've met people that are like, I regret wasting all that time. I'm like, what? And I don't,
Right.
it's like I can't grasp the concept. A lot of people like, I can't believe you're like grateful being married for a decade. That's a lot of time. You know
Yes.
what though? I wouldn't have my kids. I would not have learned like extreme lessons I needed
Lessons,
to in
yeah.
that marriage because there was so much
Yeah.
unresolved and it has shown me how to love my partner.
Yeah. And
How,
what you want and what you don't want and what you're willing to accept. And
yeah,
like, I don't think
absolutely.
men completely grasp the mentality of a divorced mother.
They
Like,
don't.
the shit that we're not willing to tolerate is like, we have zero tolerance. Like, it's just,
And that's what we were talking about
yeah.
yesterday was like, we already know what we want
Yeah.
and we know what we don't. And I love that you said that because some women I've had this conversation with that are divorced moms that get frustrated because men don't truly grasp that concept.
Hmm.
Once you've been somebody that was just young and dumb, got married, sacrificed a lot of things, went through a marriage that was not just short, but very long, and
Hmm.
had kids with that person, and then it all being gone,
Yeah.
even though it was like a mutual thing
Hmm.
between like we need to end this, but that being gone and having to go through that and knowing that you have no other choice, you need to get this done. Your kids are really relying on you. You need to still get your goals and your dreams and then just everything else that comes with it. Men don't grasp that at a woman is a very emotional creature, which men do see. Women are emotional. Yes, we're emotional, but we get to that point where we know what we want. We do. And I've been told, like, well, oh, you say that now. Like, are you sure? No, trust me. If I see something, it's
Red
I'm
flag.
no, I'm out. And maybe I didn't say it in a nice way. Like I had mentioned I was dating someone over a year ago and he was
Hmm.
younger.
Yeah.
Mentioned to you yesterday.
Hmm.
It was just the moments of he was younger and I told him I don't see you as a role model for my kids. And
Wow.
maybe it was like blunt and brutal for him to hear,
Yeah.
but
It's the
I
truth. Let's be
it's the truth. Like it's just one of those things like I don't see that. You know, let's see if this works. But then it just at that point I kind of knew like Andy, this isn't gonna work. Don't be stupid. You're not 20 anymore. You're
right.
not 19.
Right.
Like this is it.
You got to think about your kids
Hmm.
and how they're going to be and feel about this person. It's not
Yeah.
just you anymore. Because I dated too, after my divorce, and there was a couple of guys that I had feelings for, and but like realistically looking back, now I think like, well, would they have been a good role model?
Right.
Would they have fit into my family?
Your
Because
family and your vision.
yeah, like, then there's like these mothers, and like no judgment, like everyone's different, but that will just bring in anybody.
I know.
And I'm like, oh, your kids like are going through this too with you. It's not just you, you know? So, yeah, like I said, everything works out differently for different people, but like for me, I was very, very particular,
Yeah.
and I made sure that me and Dane were in a good spot for a long time before they even met him. And then when they met him, this is just my friend, you know? And I told him no kissing, no touching, no nothing. Like, you're
Yeah.
my friend, and that's it. And for a long time, like my daughter was shocked when she found out we were dating. She was like, "What?" She's like, "You
Yeah.
guys aren't friends?" Because we would go
Wow.
hang out, and I'd be like, "Don't fucking look at me like that."
Don't look at me like that.
Like, don't be giving me those looks. Like, you're my friend.
Oh my gosh. I think that's important. And not only that, like what I've noticed, like with the guy he did break up with me and like that was good that
Mhm.
we just I had told him I was like, I appreciate like what you showed me
Mhm.
and I appreciate the memories. Like you're
Yeah.
great. I want you to flourish. You're still young. Like you need to go. You need to move and get your dreams. Like you're still young.
Yeah.
And you need to live. Like I think each time because I didn't date right away after separation and divorce. Like it was a little over a year, about a year or so
Wow.
when I decided to like, oh, let's try to go on a date.
Yeah.
I was just like not about it. And then I did that, but then for a moment there was a time where I was just anti, like I am not dating at all. Period. Like
Wow. That's
I
good.
I think I did
I
that.
did look 1 year at that.
It was almost like a year. Yeah. It was like it was almost about a year. I was a wilderness first responder. I was a
Mhm.
search and rescue. I worked at the hospital in radiology. I was coaching soccer, momming kids, and I was like excited about my like what I was um how I was growing.
Mhm.
And so I didn't. And it's funny how it's like I had guys that like try to date me all the time. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
you know? And it's funny, like, right away, you're a bitch. Because you don't want to date. I'm like, I
Mhm.
don't need to date. I have kids. But then after I got out of that, 'cause I did do that. I can do it by myself. And then I realized No, Andy, you cannot do it by yourself when it comes to like changing your tire and stuff.
Right.
Which I mean, I can if I learn. I know I
Oh,
can.
yeah.
But it's just it got to one of those. But then I started dating again, just dating and so forth. And then I just that's the one thing though, is after each of these experiences, what I did learn is like, no, I will not date someone that's under 35.
I don't blame you. I've done it too.
Oh,
I've done it too. And
because
it's
I just
it goes nowhere. It goes
it,
nowhere.
it does not go anywhere at all. And that was my last like boyfriend. He was 25, 26. And I had talked to a couple guys before that were in their mid 20s. I'm like, Annie, what the hell are you freaking doing? You get excited. I don't know if it's like oh yeah, look, I still got it. Like you get excited about it. And it's exciting. You
Yeah.
get lost in that moment. And then reality sets in.
Right.
Oh, no, 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 Andy. Like this is not realistic. And that's what I have a hard time explaining to people. Is like they're like, well, you dated those young guys. That was different
Yeah.
because I saw growth to do. I think when you become a newly divorced mom for a few years, it's like I know if it's flattering or it's an ego thing, but when younger guys are hitting on you,
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
it's like, oh, damn, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
I
I'm
saw
a mom.
that.
But, you know, I don't think guys, I don't think men understand that. But then when you hit that growth point, which I realized really, really like a year ago, like, shit, Andy, you can't, nope, it has to be mid 30s and up.
Oh, for
No,
sure. For sure. Yeah. Mid
it's so
30s and up.
crazy. It's so crazy. My brother
They
always,
have so much growing to do themselves, you know?
that's my brother.
Sorry, I'm losing my voice.
You're good. You're good. My brother always told me, you know that a man is has so much growing up to do, even up until like, I mean, boys
My
will be boys.
40s.
Yeah. He's like, but I'm telling you, and they're 26, 28. He's like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, honestly. And I was like, oh, and he really lectured me with my last
Wait,
boy,
who did?
my brother.
Okay.
And my brother is 36.
Yeah.
So he lectured me. It's like, and I remember when my last boy, like, we broke up, right? He broke up with me, but my brother was like, I'm so glad. He's like, you're stupid sometimes. I'm like, why? He's like, how is he gonna be a role model to your kids? He hasn't had
I
kids.
mean, ideally, no, but honestly, age is just a number. I've heard success stories of young men taking on that role of a stepdad.
Wow.
Young men, like, God, I mean, it happens. It happens. It's rare, I will
It's
say.
so rare.
It's rare, but I've heard of it. Like 10 years younger than the woman, taking over as a dad and wanting to have that role. Like
Right.
that's just like what they were born to do. It's rare. Most men nowadays are immature for a long time,
Oh,
but
yeah,
long
100%.
time.
And it's funny because my brother, I
They
don't
need
know.
to kind of get that what is it called? Sowing your wild oats.
Yeah.
They need to get it out of them like
And that I guess that was the one indicator, and then it hit me later when I realized my brother's like he is obsessed with anime and plays video games all the time. I'm like, that's his fun trait. Like, let him be who he is. I'm not gonna try to change him.
he's like he likes what your son likes.
That's what exactly. He's you're momming three kids right now.
Oh
Like, oh, okay. Well, he's never met the kid. Well, I told you the instance he showed up. Did I tell you
Mhm.
that? He had
Yeah, you
showed
did.
Like, you're not supposed to just
Mm.
show up and be, I
No.
mean, cute and surprising that you brought me dinner, but my kids are here.
Right.
And that's what boundaries need to just
Yeah.
be clear, you know? But they don't understand that age. I know what I was like in my 20s.
Right?
I know exactly what I was like in my
We
20s.
wanted what we wanted at that moment, and that's all that mattered.
Hmm. Absolutely. And now I think right now it's just we know what we want, we know what we don't, and a lot of men don't grasp that concept.
They don't.
They do not.
They
And
don't.
I do see men as leaders. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
and I go through to my closest friend for advice. I really do look up to for his advice. You know,
Mm,
we're both JWX members. Like, I appreciate our leadership because there's some times where I'm like, oh my God, and messaging them or ask them questions. But
yeah,
I know that when men are secure in themselves and successful and just a whole bunch of other aspects, I will be guided by that.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
will allow myself
You'll
to.
step into your feminine.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
And so it's one of those things when you know you can be guided by someone, you know that they're a leader, or even choosing a partner and you can step into your feminine.
Yeah.
Um, that's how you know. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I
absolutely.
mean, that's definitely an indicator for me. Like, I want to say, like, with my ex, I was always in my masculine.
Mhm.
Even though he paid all the bills and he took care of us and provided everything we needed, I was always in my masculine around him because it was just the dynamics of our personalities, I think. Like, I see that you're not emotionally fit, so I have to be that. You know,
Right.
I have to lead the family because I've got all my emotions under control. You don't. So it was like I was always leading and with everybody, and I hated it. It was a gross feeling being in your masculine at all times. It was exhausting too because you I had to make the decisions, I had to do everything. And I think that's why I picked such a masculine man because
Mhm.
I actually, and he has to still check me because I like to go in my masculine a lot.
Yeah.
Um, but he, like, he's definitely in his masculine all the time. Like, I have to like force him to sometimes because we need that balance. We all need that balance, right? If he's never in his feminine, then we're probably never going to even cuddle, that kind
Yeah.
of thing. Because anyway, so like me being in my feminine is something that I've learned to do a little bit more in this relationship because I have no choice. He's dominating, he's masculine, and it's like,
Right.
so it's like it works out really well because it just naturally puts me in my feminine, you
It
know?
feels really good, doesn't it?
It does.
It's
It does.
like, so um, I did a podcast yesterday and I was talking about, because raised by my father, like when you're raised by
Same.
a Mexican man, especially,
Girl. I was raised by my father and my brother.
oh, good Lord.
Two, and they were very, very,
Just men in general, when you're raised
they're
with,
just men. They never complained. They
yes,
never bitched. What's this bitching and complaining when you're sick? Like they never did that. I never,
right.
I never knew that my dad ever got sick ever because you would never know. And to this day,
No.
he won't tell you when he's not feeling well. They just
Yep.
showed up every day, super masculine. And so I was raised by men, and I'm just this masculine woman. Like I come off as being a woman, but
Oh,
inside I'm like a dude.
dude. No, this is such a real thing.
It
I love
is.
this because and I'm finding this a lot with a lot of people that I'm resonating with. I'm like,
Yeah.
holy cow, you get me.
Yeah.
Because I was raised like that.
Huh?
Very masculine. My dad always had my brother and I just working, working, working. And
Mhm.
then
Like suck it
my
up.
my
Like
God, I was like, you can be sick, or if you take a break, you're lazy. Just this whole thing.
same.
And it was
My
just
people never know when I'm sick because I still go to the gym every day. I still
mhm,
like get up. I don't like unless I'm like really bad. I'm up cooking,
mhm.
cleaning, like. Even with COVID, I'm just like, when it was like the bad COVID, I'm like up and doing things. Like,
I know. I know. And now, like, well, the couple people that are like closest to me know when I'm sick because then I get, it's really weird when I get really, really sick. Like, I'll still show up, but like, I get foggy brained
yeah,
and kind of moody and like
I
a
can see
blank
it too.
stare,
Yeah.
like just blank, like I'm just not there.
Hmm.
But otherwise, like, no, I've always shown up. There's been
Hmm.
so many countless times that so many things have happened, like even like a biopsy done on my leg and I was in the gym
Yeah.
and nobody knew, just random things. And it's just like I always dealt with that. And then being married to a Marine for 10 years.
Dude, we have such the same mentality. It's crazy.
Girl, there was no time for soft.
Exactly. You know how many times like I've had like a terrible day and I was in the gym. I'm sure this has happened with you. I'm sure you could resonate with this. In the gym, crying,
Yep.
sobbing, like doing my set. I'm like
Oh,
crying
that was me. That was me yesterday.
because it's like, and like I'm like, dude, I'm in the fucking gym. Like I gotta clear my space.
Can't be
Like,
crying. What are you doing? Like,
like, dude, I'm fine. I'm fine. Just keep going. You know?
yep. It's a real thing because like so like with my ex-husband, and I respect him. I don't badmouth him. I don't. We just run off for each other. But he's a Marine. Okay. I lived on near base. I
Not
dealt with
sad.
Marines. So like I had masculine
Yeah.
father that was raising me, a military husband, and then I'm a first responder that really ingrained in my toughness and grit.
Right.
But with him, I do remember so many countless occasions where something like I didn't cry. I was very desensitized because I kind of it the Marine vibe kind of rubbed off on me.
I bet.
It was bad enough that I already was like, you can't be sad because you got like from my
What'd your
father.
dad do?
So my dad, he was the supervisor of like a big farm and so forth here in ranching, and then he was a welder
Okay. We
and
call our
he was what do you call it? Like he had his license for like killing weeds and stuff in the fields and
okay.
he still welds and stuff to this day.
Wow,
Like he's
that's
just a
cool.
welder. He got his welder cert. But yeah, so I dealt with that from my father, and my father just always wanted to protect me, but made sure I was tough. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And then with my ex-husband, I remember like the one moment where like something sad happened
Hmm. And
and
you cried.
I had tears starting to like run down. And this is not me
He was like,
bashing.
"Who are you?"
This isn't me bashing him. It's just kind of like he like looked at me and I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to do. Like,
He really didn't. Like, he doesn't know how to
but
deal
he
with that.
didn't. And the people are always, and I always defend my kid's father
Yeah.
because I know that's my kid's father.
Hmm.
That's part of them. And I know what he's been through.
Hmm.
I'm not in love with him, no, but I defend him because whatever is said about him that reflects down to my kids, you know what I mean? And I know
Absolutely.
his traumas. I know what he's been through.
Yeah.
And he was a Marine. They desensitize you. They freaking so like
You have no feelings and you're
you
not allowed to
don't.
show them
You don't. And that's what your
unless
program
it's anger and like going for something, like killing and
and the moments I try to be a girl. A cousin of mine died and I actually got really upset because she was very young. And I just teared up a bit and I put my head on his like chest. And like, this is really awful. Like, but then I didn't know how to be sad either. That's when I knew I had a lot of work to do. And he's just like, I don't know what to say. Oh, well, I don't know what to tell you. Like, he didn't know.
they
And,
also deal with death. My dad is also ex-military. He did Vietnam.
oh,
So, yeah, so he never showed emotion either. No crying, like his brothers would die and he was just like,
yeah.
"Oh, let's go to a funeral, guys." Because
Hmm.
desensitized. They people die every day in front of them. They have to kill. I don't know about position he was, but my dad killed a lot of people. He was behind a gun and he killed women and children probably on accident. Um and so it it makes them like dead inside.
It does.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It's so wild. So like that's the one thing like people like don't grasp that concept of military. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
It's
that's not
terrible.
cool. And I'm like, do you not understand? Like I know he has a lot of work to do. I do too, but what he's been through, what he's seen, what he's done for this country, and he did 3 tours in Iraq.
Wow. A long time.
Even hearing what he's seen, I don't know how it'd be seen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm just always like, no, you don't get it. You do not. And so after all that though, like I noticed after divorce, and that's why I actually just love his wife for him. I remember as soon as we separated, I want him to find this person that is for him because he and I just wreak havoc on each other. We make it worse, we don't know how to deal with each other. And the woman he's with now, he actually like I can see it. Like he loves to hold her hand and this
That's cute.
goes grocery shopping with her. He buys her flowers, takes her coffee.
Oh.
It's actually been really good for him.
Oh, I love
Really
this.
good.
I love this. See,
And
I'm the
I
same way. I'm the same way too. Like when I heard my ex-husband had a girlfriend, I was like, "Oh my God, that is so cool." I was like, "God bless her soul." Like, God
yeah.
bless her soul that she could deal with that and like that she makes him happy. That's all I ever like coming from my heart. That's all I want for him.
I love
It's
that.
just
You were honestly probably the first woman I've ever heard say that as
oh my
well.
God. I want him to be happy so bad. Like I heard that they might not be together one day. I think it was false, but you know how you hear things.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. I would ask my daughter, "Hey, have you heard of her? Have you heard?" Because like I really want him to be happy because that trickles down to your kids.
Hmm.
If he's happy and he's thriving, like it's only gonna benefit your kids.
And I remember going through separation and divorce, and I would tell everybody, I honestly, genuinely, with all my heart, the one thing I really want from all of this, I didn't give a shit if I found, because I knew I wasn't going to date for a while. The one thing I was like, I want him to find his person. I want him to be happy. And I used to tell people that all the time.
Same. Same.
And a lot of
Same.
people don't understand that.
Whether we have it or not is like completely irrelevant, you
Yeah,
know?
100%. And that was the one thing, like, I had a couple people like, don't you want to be happy too? And I'm like, yeah, but you know what? Right now,
Doesn't
my
matter.
kids need their dad to be a happy, healthy leader, father, flourishing. I know that I wasn't the person that was able to we weren't able to take each other on. We weren't able to grow together.
Yeah.
We just were on different frequencies and different visions for what we wanted in life. But I want him to grow and have that person because he is a good man. He is, regardless of the bullshit we had, because we were both at fault. He is a good man.
He's got a good heart.
He does. And that's my kid's father. And I know that's the one thing I always wish because especially being military and then especially me knowing his entire childhood and teen years and all that, all I ever wanted was for him to experience true love and happiness. That's all I wanted for him. And I knew I wasn't the person for it, but that's all I want. And I always tell the kids, like, I'm glad your dad is actually happy. He actually glows. He's actually flourishing. Like, he's actually like compassionate. Like,
Oh,
she's brought that out in him.
that's beautiful. I love
He's
this.
he's compassionate. And like, it's so crazy to me. Like, I mean, he does work a lot, and it sucks because he does miss out on some time with the kids. But when they're there, I mean, she's a good stepmom. She's a good
That's all that
stepmom,
matters. Yeah.
and that's all I ever wanted. You
Yeah.
know.
Can you
But then,
imagine if you didn't? Because there's so many situations where the other woman is like causing problems,
oh yeah,
between you and him. And if she doesn't do that, golden.
if
Okay?
she
Stay in
doesn't,
your lane. We're good.
it's been really good, and I guess I've been blessed to have that for my children. And I'm a firm believer like that. okay, so my thing is, I if you guys aren't working out, if you're not growing together, if you just aren't leveling up together, why are you together? Don't stay for the kids.
At what quality are they seeing you together? Are they seeing you together in love?
Yeah. Because that's how it was with me and my kid. Like the kids, because we like became like basically roommates for like the last half
Same,
of
yeah. Separate
it.
rooms and everything.
And then we became like full-blown strangers for like the last 2 years.
hmm
But we literally became roommates in the
Yeah,
house in the same room.
same.
And we were civil. Like we were civil. It was loved that. But
Yeah,
it's
that's exactly what I didn't. I was gonna post a reel about this today, actually. Um, that's exactly what I didn't want my kids to see. Like,
Mhm.
either they're gonna see me alone
Yeah.
and happy alone,
Yeah.
or with somebody and to know what love looks like.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I don't want them thinking, well, mom doesn't sleep in the same room as dad. She never hugs him. She never kisses him. She never holds hands with him, sits on his lap. Like, there's no flirting. There's no, it's
Yeah.
just like, this is my friend that I had kids with. Like, that's what it was, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. It was very rare. Like, yeah, we were civil, and there'd be things like we laugh about, and the kids were excited when we be in the same room and we be
Right.
whatever. But I want them to experience like a real healthy relationship and growth, seeing their parents grow together and thrive,
Yeah, that's
not
amazing.
just friends. And I think that's the thing is like he and I stuck through it for so long, but a woman gets to that point, and a woman does.
Yes.
Where like, okay, both my kids are school age. Why are we doing this? Like, a woman does. And when a woman's, and I know this, when a woman has checked out emotionally, you're done.
Right?
And
And this is another thing men don't know. Like, once a woman has reached that threshold of being checked out, it's almost like nothing can get her back. No begging, no therapy, nothing will get her back to the point of being like, let's try again.
yeah.
Men might. I don't really know.
See, I don't know. Yeah, I'm like, I know a couple people of men that are like emotionally I'm not there
Mhm.
anymore for that person,
Yeah,
but with women, like emotional, once you're done, you are done. And I knew I had checked out a couple years. It had been a
yeah,
couple years.
same. That's
And then I was
exactly.
like, ugh, this was the thing. It's
You
like
were just existing,
yeah. And then we were active members of the church and divorce is frowned upon.
of
Yeah.
course.
My God. So
Yeah,
then
it was so totally is in the church for sure.
And then not only that, we had the nice house. We
Yeah,
had the picket
yeah.
fence.
So it's like, oh my gosh, yeah.
So it
So
was just a factor of so many things. And I'm like,
many
no,
things,
Andy,
yeah.
you guys are civil right now. You guys are civil. Just, just deal with it. You guys
Life
can
was easier. Like,
you don't have to worry. The kids love that you guys are together. You're doing family trips. So we did a lot of family trips. We did the last like when Maddie started getting a little bit older and she was like the toddler years. But yeah. And like I remember our last big trip was to New York.
yeah,
And it was a great trip, but I'm like, why are we faking? Like,
I know.
we both knew, like, I was checked out for a couple of years, like, full blown, like, where I was done. Like, I struggled halfway through the marriage. Like, why? Oh my God, the first year marriage. Why did I marry him? Because we both,
This
like,
is hitting home so much.
the
Like, you,
traumas came to light that first year, you
yeah.
know? And halfway through, oh my God, why did I do this?
And then after you had your first kid, you're like,
Yeah, and then like, oh wait, like, maybe this will help. Like, if we had another kid. No, 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 no.
made it worse.
And that is so, it's a real thing. Like,
Mm.
as women, we think, okay, like, we're civil right now, even though like, why did I do this? But no, like, we can do this. And then we get to that, like, oh, why the hell am I doing? And you just, that's when you full blown. Because I
Yeah.
mean, halfway through, I was starting to check out, but those last 2 years, it was
Done.
gone.
Yeah.
It was gone, and I knew.
And
And
in those last few years, because I've lived those years too, I know exactly what those last few years are like. I went into a depression. I don't know about you, because
yeah,
you're living a life that you think you should be in, and you feel stuck, and you feel trapped, and you feel like I'm not living my life's purpose. I'm not living to my potential. I'm not
yes,
happy. You're not doing things that are like you're with somebody and you know you shouldn't be. And
yes.
you're just like stuck. Like I started taking depression medication when I was in those last years because I was like, I've got nothing else. Like I will either be full blown depressed because I have to be here or I have to get on medication to like numb me. And that's
It's
what I did. And I drank a lot too. I started drinking a lot.
and see that was that to the T right there. You just get it's one of those things where you realize like you're living other people's expectations,
Hmm.
right? Wait, what happened to me though?
Mic drop. And that's, you totally hit it.
It is
Totally hit it.
expectations of the world, of the family, the church, the whatever situation you're in.
Yeah, but what about me?
And it's like, but
I
what?
know people in this situation right now, and it's just like, how do you do it? How
Hmm.
are you doing that? Because I will never do that again, you know?
Yeah. And I know some women and that had been in it, but a lot of them, a majority of them, once the kids are both school age, I noticed that's
Yeah,
they're done. They're out. Because it's easy. I don't know what it is because we did that mom nurturing, they're little. I don't know what it is, but the majority of women, like I've met, like 90%, that have experienced that. Like, oh no. Like once both the kids were in school, I'm like, oh my God, I was that same way, you know?
I know it's crazy, right?
It's because you realize you're not just mom.
Yeah,
Like kids are in school now. I mean, you're gonna be mom always,
right.
but what you can only clean the house so much. You can only stay in the house so much. Like
Yeah,
it's not
that's
like
it. Cleaning the house and making dinner, doing
which
homework.
you can still do, but
Right.
you also need your life.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
It's
ultimately, if you're going to be in a relationship, you should be in love. Like,
oh yeah, 100%. And
oh, hold on one second.
that's what I noticed, and that's why it's weird because going back to masculine personality, my last couple boyfriends I had were not very like there was a lot of femme about them. They like to be mommed. You know what I mean? They like to be
Yeah.
mommed. And I was very masculine. I was the more masculine in the relationships. And they weren't long relationships. I mean, they're just short periods. But I noticed that.
Hmm.
So like now I'm like, okay, first off, if he's gonna bring me into my feminine, where he's gonna be like this man, I'm ultimately like just he's so desirable and I will give full blown immerse myself, that's when I know. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Yeah.
That's when I know because I've never been able to fully immerse myself with men. I've never been able to like actually be full blown Andy.
Right.
And that was the thing for me. And that's been the thing for me. Like, if I know I can grow with you, you are my ultimate best friend. I can be my full, authentic self. Not only that, like, be in my feminine. Like, I mean, come on. That's how I know.
Yeah.
And men don't understand that. Like, once a woman is like, experiences that being in her feminine for her man, game over.
Yeah. And they like it too. Like, ideally, like, unless they're a bitch, like, yeah, I hate to say that, but unless they are, like,
No, true.
they're gonna want to be in their masculine because the feminine puts a man in his masculine.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's how I always say, like, I know. I know. Like if I can full blown be authentic. I get put in my feminine. I know it's okay to like you come help me fix things and I can fully immerse myself, like
Mhm.
fully not hold back. Like I know.
Allow to receive and
Yes.
not have to always do.
Mm-hmm. And that's how I know. And so it's insane. It's so insane how like we talk, we've met, we've hung out, Tina.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we had this much more in common.
I know. You're like my long lost sister or something.
I've lived my whole life, even though I like talk to you all the time.
I know. There's just so many similarities. It's insane.
It's
It's
so
insane.
wild.
And I knew I had a connection with you. Like, yeah, we did talk a little bit, but a couple of
Yeah.
the things that you said, like that I posted or whatever, and you said that you resonated and you're with like somebody with a divorce and all that. I didn't realize there was that many similarities in our situation
Yeah.
though. Like it's
It's so great.
kind of creepy.
So wild. And then we're both fire signs, so
Right. That's right. We can't help but being fiery.
absolutely. A Leo and a Sagittarius.
That's
What?
like the perfect combo.
It is. That's the thing. Is like people are like, "What you do?" Like, no. Do you realize that Leo and Sag are actually like the perfect compatibility, like
They
in friendship and
are.
lovers and
They are.
everything?
They are.
It's a real thing.
It is. And it's funny because I don't know a whole lot of Sagittarius.
See, and
It's
I
you and like maybe one other person, but like that's it.
it's so crazy because I know Leos. I just know you and my best friend.
That's
That's
crazy.
and I'm like, it's so crazy. I'm like, and I feel like can be my full authentic, like,
I full on cried with you a minute ago.
uh,
That was unexpected.
yeah, yeah. Like me seeing you cry, I was like, oh God, like, yep, here they come. It's all good. I
Yeah,
appreciate this, Tina. This has been really
me
good.
too. Me too.
I just knew. I was like, I need her on here.
It was fun. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you so much. Love you, girl. You're
Love you.
amazing.